looked immensely big at a quartern loaf on the table, and breathed hard. "Is that all?" returned the locksmith. "Put some more milk in it. Yes, I am sorry for Joe, because he is a likely young fellow, and gains upon one every time one sees him. But he'll start off, you'll find. Indeed, he told me as much himself." "Indeed!" cried Dolly in a faint voice. "Indeed!" "Is the tea tickling your throat still, my dear?" said the locksmith. But before his daughter could make him any answer she was taken with a troublesome cough, and it was such a very unpleasant cough that when she left off the tears were starting in her bright eyes. The good-natured locksmith was still patting her on the back and applying such gentle restoratives, when a message arrived from Mrs. Varden, making known to all whom it might concern that she felt too much indisposed to rise after her great agitation and anxiety of the previous night, and therefore desired to be immediately accommodated with the little black teapot of strong mixed tea, a couple of rounds of buttered toast, a middling-sized dish of beef and ham cut thin, and the Protestant Manual in 2 volumes post octavo. Like some other ladies who in remote ages flourished upon this globe, Mrs. Varden was most devout when most ill-tempered. Whenever she and her husband were at unusual variance, then the Protestant Manual was in high feather. Knowing from experience what these requests portended, the triumvirate broke up: Dolly to see the orders executed with all dispatch, Gabriel to some out-of-door work in his little chaise, and Sim to his daily duty in the workshop, to which retreat he carried the big look, although the loaf remained behind. Indeed, the big look increased immensely, and when he had tied his apron on became quite gigantic. It was not until he had several times walked up and down with folded arms and the longest strides he could take, and had kicked a great many small articles out of his way, that his lip began to curl. At length a gloomy derision came upon his features, and he smiled, uttering meanwhile with supreme contempt the monosyllable "Joe." "I eyed her over while he talked about the fellow," he said, "and that was of course the reason of her being confused. Joe!" He walked up and down again much quicker than before, and if possible with longer strides, sometimes stopping to take a glance at his legs, and sometimes to jerk out and cast from him another "Joe." In the course of a quarter of an hour or so he again assumed the paper cap and tried to work. No, it could not be done. "I'll do nothing to-day," said Mr. Tappertit, dashing it down again, "but grind. I'll grind up all the tools. Grinding will suit my present humour well. Joe!" Whirr! The grindstone was soon in motion. The sparks were flying off in showers. This was the occupation for his heated spirit. Whirr! "Something will come of this," said Mr. Tappertit, pausing as if in triumph, and wiping his heated face upon his sleeve. "Something will come of this. I hope it mayn't be human gore. Whirr!" End of Chapter 4. Read by Deborah Lynn.